guys, and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to the Grounding Podcast. Today we have a special guest with us, Susan, and we'll be doing a love session today. Susan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Susan, and I am an art therapist, and we are going to do a little art therapy while we talk.
Great, and we'll be discussing different topics today. And on our topic list, we will be talking about what is love, how do you feel it should be shown, the difference between love and lust, and how to find love even through the darkness. So we're going to have a talk about that while we are doing our art therapy. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I'm excited for you being here. So we're going to start moving and grooving while we are talking. Multitasking today. And we have a little wine here. It is red wine because it's Valentine's. We are doing red wine today. So first we're going to discuss things like, what is love? Like, what do you think love is exactly? You know?
I think it's a lot of things, like love is a feeling, love is an action, love is a gift. So, it kind of spans the gamut. Love is the greatest of all.
Right. I feel that way too. And I feel like a lot of times we find difficulty in understanding what love means to us, right? Because everybody's perspective on love is different. Some people might view love as, oh, this person buys me everything. He loves me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people that have the negative impact of seeing abuse and say, hey, this person, he gets so angry when I go out and, doing this to me means he loves me. I've seen that before. Crazy, but I've seen it. Well, let me not say crazy because that's their view and perspective on it. But people view love differently. And sometimes you might feel like, hey, this is the wrong way to view it. But to them, in their hearts, they feel that that's love. I don't know if you ever came across anything like that before.
Well, in the world of like humanity, there are lots of people who abuse things that are beautiful in a way that does hurt other people. And we all have our own life story that we bring to the table. So, like you were saying, somebody's perspective of feeling loved could be somebody else's thoughts of obsession and what is the word? Like isolation,
Right.
like keeping somebody from other loved ones. Like that possession idea of love, and it can feel like love because you're important to someone, but it ends up being like a twisted version of love.
Right. And sometimes people don't realize that until after. And I've seen
Very true.
Yeah, I've seen the more you push someone to steer them away from something, the more they go to it, right?
Yes.
Because then they feel like, oh, you're fighting against this love that
You don't understand.
Right.
You don't understand.
Right. So that's something that I've seen. And then I've seen the number one aspect that we all do. He can't do this for me. He doesn't do this. He doesn't pay for this. And they feel like that's love. being able to be financially, don't get me wrong, like everyone wants stability and financial stability. But some people view that as the whole concept of love. Like that's all love is to them. And that sometimes I feel people get conflicted with, right? Because then they wind up staying into situations because of financial things. And then they're stuck. And then they're in love, but the person that they fell for don't love them back, right?
Not in the way that they really, like that would really sit in their hearts as being loved.
Right. Yeah. So I've seen that too. But, well, my concept of love is, I think love is a mixture of like giving when you don't even have it to give, like sometimes like it's not a financial thing for me, but it's an emotional thing, right? Like you don't have to have anything, but if we can do what the Bible says and make two become one, I feel like that's love for me. And that's how I view it. I want to share with someone even when we both don't have it. We put our minds together and think of something. And I would never forget the story when I was married. It was a holiday, and we had no money, and we were going through it, right? And the kids were there, and the kids were bored. They were younger, and my ex-husband said, "We're not going to sit in this house and let financial things destroy us."
Aww.
And he took us to the beach. We drove to the beach. We had like a couple change. We took the little change that we had, and we drove the kids to the beach, and we sat on the beach the entire day and just ran around Virginia Beach, just running on the beach on the sand.
Oh, beautiful.
I framed that picture. We took a picture together, and I was sitting between us. He was holding me, and Charisma took the picture actually. And I framed that picture in a big frame because it made me remember that loving someone is not about what they can give you financially only, but emotionally. So I think that is very, very important, and
you were very cared for in that moment.
And so I feel like sometimes we forget that, not on purpose, but when hard times hit, you don't think about those things. Like, you're just like, oh my God, this is going on and you cannot fix it, and it becomes you and not we cannot fix it. So that's my perspective. And I think after a while, I feel like as you grow, love changes for you, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like it changes as you grow.
Well, and there's that initial, almost like an adrenaline rush of love, like being around someone or having them nearby, or thinking about them even. Your phone dings, it's a text from this person. Yeah. That is a whole different space from long term.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a relationship with someone for a long time, it's important to be able to like mature in love.
Yeah.
Beyond that adrenaline, butterflies in your stomach space, because that's where like you settle into each other.
Yeah, I agree.
As time goes on.
And so, being that you just said that, it brings me to the next topic, because that barked right upon it, as always. Susan and I connectivity is crazy. Like she always goes right into my thoughts, right into what I'm thinking next. We are so similar. I tell her every time, it's like my sister from another mother.
Yes,
seriously. And we talk for hours. So we have to be mindful of the producer's time and make sure we remember because we do that. So this goes into my next topic, what you just said. How do you feel it should be shown? Like, how do you feel love should be expressed in your eyes? Like, for you to say, oh, this person loves me, what would be the ultimate thing to show you that? like Susan that?
For me, I think love is seeing someone and recognizing their individuality, the beauty in the unique person that they are, and wanting to encourage their life growth, like wanting to help someone and guide them in your own, not in a like a domineering, not in that kind of way, but in the way that you seek out things that you're like, I know this is important to you, and look what I found.
Right.
And this will help. Like, it's an idea. It doesn't even have to be a thing. It can just be that I read this article that I saw that had something to do with what I know is important to you, and it gave me this insight. Like, being seen is being unseen is the ultimate hurt. So for me, love is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, if you say this is important to me, and then the behavior of someone else is that I don't really think that that's important.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, this should be important.
Right. Kind of like dictating to you what they feel and not focusing on your feelings.
Yes.
Yes, I completely get that. I completely get that. Yes, that's so true. And so connect with that. I can say Susan stole my thought. As always. But yes, I agree. For me, being shown love is simply just acknowledging me. Like, let me have my feeling and care about it. Like, let me have it, but you also care about it.
Yes, because you matter.
Right. And showing me that's love to me. That's all I really need. Like, don't, like, I'm saying this is how I feel, and you're saying that's not, you feel this way because of this, and you're telling me how I feel and telling me why I'm feeling how I'm feeling, when I'm physically telling you how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling how I'm feeling, and like giving me narcissistic behavior back. That's not love to me. That's actually like a pet peeve for me.
Understandable.
Like, yeah, it really is. It's like, because then I feel like, and I guess because I love hard. And so when I love someone, I truly care and their feelings matter. And I cannot sit there and grow while they're steady. Like, we both have to grow. Yes. Yeah. And if you come in and you're grumpy and miserable, it affects me, because then now I'm feeling grumpy and miserable, because your energy affects my energy because I love you. And so, yeah, that's love for me. Like, just being mindful that, hey, I'm not going to go in here and be this way because, my wife is going to feel it. Or let me go talk to her about it. Because I love, communication is big for me.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And so when I find someone I can do that with, it is the ultimate thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like, we're talking about like the romantic version of love. But I think that, like, it's also important to take those same ideas, minus the romance part, and apply them to other people.
Right.
Like other people in your life, like your children or your parents.
Okay, good.
Because everyone that we come in contact with deserves to feel loved by us.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if it's, somebody at the grocery store, that you see and you're like, I don't know. I just have a memory of being pregnant, and when you get like really pregnant,
Yeah.
you're uncomfortable everywhere you go.
I like that.
Everything is uncomfortable. It's hard to move, to walk, to go to the grocery store. All of the things are hard. So I remember just a long time ago seeing, and my children were all born, so I wasn't in the pregnant stage anymore, but I saw a mom, and I know she had to have been like about to give birth. Yeah. And she's walking around doing what she needed to do for life at the Walmart or Target or just the grocery store. And she had this glow about her, just that baby pregnant glow, and looked tired at the same time. Yeah. So I just went and told her that you are beautiful. Like you're beautiful pregnant.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
I don't know if she was having a hard day, but you could tell by the look on her face that she was like really grateful to hear that. Yeah. So love is important to share with everyone.
Yeah.
That's
I completely agree with that. That's so true. Yeah. And it's good that you brought that back to topic, because that is so true. Like, love is something not just with the person that you love or with, but your kids need love, yes. Everybody needs love. And as I said, sometimes it's how they conceive love, and sometimes when you show them true love, it's a battle at first. Oh, because they're not used to seeing love in that light. Yeah. So it's like, this isn't right. That's not how I'm used to seeing it, And I'm not talking about just like your spouse. I'm talking about just people in general. They might take it like, I've seen people that you give love to, and they're like, so you're doing this for me for what? What do you want in return? Oh. And it's like, nothing. This is me. I have no ulterior motive for what I'm doing. But there's people that really do believe that if you're doing something nice for them, you're doing it because you want something. And I've experienced that so many times because my heart is so big. And I'm always trying to help somebody. And so a lot of times that's something that they always like, okay, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, Tayo? For what reason? And I'm like, I don't have a reason. I'm doing it because I care. Like, it's me naturally. Right. But they're so used to like, no, everybody does something because they want something. And that's not the case all the time. Like, there's genuine people out there that just actually follow God's law and love everyone. Just love. And so I guess it's how you look at love. It's how you determine whether someone is giving it to you or not. Right?
Yeah, and that's an important distinction too, because when you look back at what we were saying about what love is, and if you're matched, like if your partner is someone who loves in X way, and is for whatever reason, life trauma, stubbornness, for whatever reason, decided that this is the only thing that I'm going to do to love you, and then it's not your version of love, it doesn't feel like love. Right. So true. It's important, like if you're saying the difference, like you have to, in a relationship, in a partnership with someone, you need to be able to say, okay, your version, you feel loved by this activity or this gentle touches or spending time together, just 10 minutes a day that have conversation that, if that's how you feel loved, then that's important, even if the person loving the other one doesn't really care about that stuff. Yeah. Like that's, there's like this gift of sacrifice of your wants and needs for the sake of the other person. Yes.
And that's something I always find myself doing. And at first, I used to think to myself, like, my mom had to teach me this. She's like, I would get so angry, like, oh, I cared so much for this person and they did this to me.
Mm.
And sometimes it's really hurtful, the things that might have happened, right? And my mom always turned back and say to me, when you do something for someone, don't ever think to expect anything back.
Yeah.
She said, you have to just do it out of goodness of your heart, because you have to remember, people are not you. Like, everyone is not you. So everyone is not going to react to things the same way you do. So you have to just do it and just forget about it. Just say you did it to do it. Because what she always tells me, you don't do things for the reward from men. When I say men, not like men relationships, you need people. Because you do it to please God.
Yes.
And He will bless you openly and abundantly. And so that's something she has always taught me, that I had to learn and repeat to myself multiple times. And I will never forget that. That really still stick with me, you know. So yeah.
And
so
God loves in a way that you turn around and go, wow, that was way more than I wanted or expected or even thought possible for me in this moment.
Yeah, I agree. So that brings us into the next topic, which is the difference between love and lust. Wow. Now, I feel like that's a lengthy topic, right?
It's a what topic?
A lengthy topic.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to tell the difference, right? For me, it is. Not on me feeling it, but on if that person is giving me one or the other. You know, because you never really know what people's thoughts are. And sometimes when they're like showing love, it might be lustful, and they think that, okay, this is love, but it's just lustful because the eyes,
Right.
The eye is the window to the soul, as they say. So you see something and you're like, oh, this person's so beautiful, oh my gosh. And so first you fall in love with the image of them, right? And then they start to do little things and you're like, oh, it's so sweet. But they might be doing it because they're in love with the image of you. And so they're more so first, I find this with men a lot, of course, like, oh, she's attractive. And the first thing they think of, sexually, their mind goes there. And so it's like, how do I eventually, it comes a time when it takes time before you start to see, okay, what it is, or I feel like they start off with lust and then flow into love. That's what I feel like. Guys do that a lot. And then you have some men that will talk to you for a long period of time and just be friends. And I find it better when I'm friends with someone for a while.
Oh, for sure.
And because once you gain that friendship with them, then you know for sure, like, this is not a lustful thing, right?
Right.
And so, but when you just meet someone, it's like, some people be like, oh, it was love at first sight. Like, how do you know that? Like, was it love at first sight or was it just lust? And then it developed into love.
Yeah.
So that's always a tricky topic for me. I don't know what you think.
Gosh, that's a, like you said, that's a deep, because like lust is important, although the word lust has a negative undertone to it. But that attraction to your partner is important. It's the feel good. It's like the butterflies and your heart racing and like those kinds of things. It's just not like there's no longevity to that. Relationships that are focused on the lust part fizzle out because you don't have, like, there's no foundation. So what you're saying about being friends with someone, then you build the foundation that love can sit on. So it doesn't have to, like crumble because there's there's some meat there to the relationship between the two of you, and you can grow out of that, and there's the potential for longevity with it. Otherwise it just fizzles.
Yeah. And I've found sometimes that it took time for people to start to realize that, hey, like they might have started, right, and been in a relationship, and they're like, okay, this would be moved too fast. Let's go back and go back to starting over and being friends, and then take it slow back into our relationship. And that is hard for some people to do. But I found myself doing that, and it's not working out bad at all.
So it's doable.
Yeah.
'Cause I would have thought you can't go backwards.
No, you can.
Okay.
And if it's the right person, right? What my mom said, you have to deal with people of like mindset. And so if that person have an understanding, like we both agree, yes, we did go too fast. And can we start over? And okay, in this session that we start over, we're not going to have any, might say, I don't know, whatever you feel was like the rush. Okay, let's just cut off sexual connection and just let's mentally connect and love each other more immensely on ourselves and work on ourselves, and then come back to it. And if you deal with the right person, you can start over. If they're open to it, because nothing works if it's only one person working.
Right. Which is a whole nother love subject.
Yes, that is true. Nothing. It is absolutely true. And
cannot. Yes.
And a lot of times that is the big wooey, right? It's just one person trying and the other person isn't, and it just ruins everything. Especially when that person thinks they're trying. Like, in their mind is like, I'm trying. Yes. So I definitely think that aspect. I mean, what do you have more on that?
On the idea of backing up and starting over.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think that for me, anyway, that anything that is really hard, or if I think like on my own, there's no way this could happen, I always like lean into the reality that God is bigger than anything I think can or can't happen. And if God has a plan, then it really, I mean, I may get in the way, I may cause the road to be rough and rocky to get there, but God's going to make what He wants to happen. So,
that's so true.
So I think that for my human mind, I'm like, yeah, you can't do that, because who can? There's so much rejection that goes along on both sides. If you're, you have this physical relationship, and then you say, okay, we're going to cut that part out when that was there, and then go back to like you said, you're going backwards, and I mean, I think it's beautiful that you're finding it possible. Yeah,
because a lot of times, even in our life, think about it. Sometimes we go backward before we go forward, right? We
That's true.
Fall at some point, right? Like, we don't stay up high forever. And so I look at it in that concept. Like, if we can be here one day and then be here another day and then go back, why can't you do that in other aspects of your life?
Well, that's true, because I mean, anytime we fall down, like what is it everybody says, it doesn't really matter how many times you fall down. What's important is that you get back up. So I agree with you. Now, thank you for like changing my perspective there, because you're right. Like, why not let this be a place that you're like, okay, we fell here, but I still care a great deal about you, and I don't want to lose our friendship, our relationship. I just need to go backwards.
And if you both agree to start over and try again, and you start over as friends, and it doesn't, you see, okay, while we're being friends, okay, you talk about something, and you're like, well, I don't think I'm be able to change this, because now you're friends and they can openly say it. And so now they tell you that, and you can say, okay, well, we can't move forward in another aspect because you wasn't doing, you stopped doing that aspect that caused you to be, because I feel like sex creates soul ties immensely, like.
Oh, for sure.
And so if you pull that apart, then you start to see the person more. And so if you decide, hey, I don't think it's going to work for us relationship wise, but we can still be friends, right? Because you were being friends at this new start. And so that's how I look at it, like, yeah, because then you're not taking that away. You're not taking the conversation away. You're not taking the being there emotionally away. So it's like the sex was taken away when we came back anyway. So what are you losing now?
Yeah.
You're not really losing anything at this point because you still have me emotionally. So that's why I think it's possible if we do it, if it's done that way.
And if you're both on board,
yes,
you're both in agreement, and then, because if you're in agreement, then it takes away the possibility of rejection becoming the focus for one or both of you.
Right, absolutely. And that's why I say it's not a lot of people that you can do that with. It has to be of kind of like mind, and so it's not an easy, I don't think it's an easy thing at all.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. Y'all are succeeding, which is really, really, I mean, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that is, just watching it and see where it goes, like that's the important thing. Not not having expectations of it having to have to go in the direction that you want it to, because it's like, okay, we know we're trying this, so we can't expect, neither party can say, I expect this of you, like.
Well, if you set your expectation at friendship,
then
you're going to win.
Right.
And if it goes beyond friendship, then you just, you got in the icing on the cake instead of just the cake.
Right.
It's winning on a whole nother level.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I feel like it's not bad.
No, I think it's beautiful that you have found someone who is also in the space of being willing to look at building your friendship.
Yeah.
After having, already been in a physical space with them, because I mean that I can just see that being a thing that somebody would say.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that.
And that's and yeah.
And maybe that being more common than what you've lucked into.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
But but you also have to stand your ground on yourself, And sometimes we let people talk us into doing things that we
so true.
originally did not want to do, right? Like, and so I had to come to find, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You're either on board with it or you're not. That's it. Like, and if you're not, I'm not mad at you. Just know that this is the direction I have to go, and so we can't be in the same direction. And so I've come to having to learn, you can't be mad at people and the choice they make. Like, if that's the choice they make, the same way I made that choice, I can't force you to say, oh, you don't love me because you didn't choose this choice. Because that's not the case. It's just that they did what they feel is best for them. The same way I'm doing what's best for me. And so that's sometimes where we, we go into the selfishness of ourselves. And it doesn't make you a bad person, just human. We all do it, We all do it.
And we all have our own, life experience that, like, those are the only, our life experience is what we have to draw from.
Yeah.
It's what our instincts go on our own life experience, our choices, our, the decision making, our reactions, right. All of that is just built in from a lifetime of whatever your experiences are. So you do have to stand up and say, this is really vital that I don't do, or I take care of myself in this way. I have a friend who says, it's totally okay if this is what you want to choose to do, and I get to choose not to have it in my life.
Right.
And I never thought about that until she said it, but it goes right along with what you're saying, that not everyone would be willing to climb on board and say, okay, let's build our friendship.
Right.
Let's kind of go backwards and take care of that piece, build that piece. Not everyone's going to say okay, but it's okay. Like, they get to make a decision for themselves.
And I honestly believe that, and if they choose, hey, this is, what, I tried, but I don't think I can do it. Because that's possible.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then okay, no problem. I didn't lose anything, right? If anything, I gained a friend.
Well, and you also gained an experience.
Right.
That at the very least, you did what was right for you.
Yeah.
So now you have that experience to lean back on for another thing that comes in your life. You get to say, I already did this one time.
Yeah.
And I can stand up for myself again. And it's okay. It's okay that I do that. And it's okay that the person I'm standing up for myself in front of doesn't like it, because I survived that too.
Right.
So.
And that's so true. If we think about the survival of, how many times you go through heartbreak?
Oh, right.
And it's so horrible, and it's it feels like it's never going to go away, right? Oh my God, when am I going to get over this pain? And so we survive that. So it's God doesn't give up on us. So why not give something that you think is worth it a chance? And if it doesn't work, hey, we'll go past it too, the same way we do heartbreak, right? You can't run from heartbreak, and that's something I did. I spoke about that in my last a recent podcast that I had. I think it was my first one. I spoke about how at one point I was running from love. I didn't want heartbreak. So I was like, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to leave before you do this to me.
Yeah.
When it hasn't even happened yet, right? I just told myself that it's going to happen. And and we do that sometimes. But if we do remember that pain is a part of life, and so is heartbreak. But it's how you deal with it. Do you hold on to it forever, or do you eventually let it go?
Yeah. And get back up and keep on going.
And that's the hard part for a lot of people, right?
It is, yeah.
It's just, I can't let it go. I'm still angry. I'm still mad, and I'm still holding on to this. And you just got to give yourself a time frame onto how long you're going to hold on to it.
Well, we all get to do that.
Yeah.
But we also all, your life choices determine where your life goes.
Yeah.
So if you make a choice to hold on to something and to, be bitter and angry, then your life is going to go in the bitter and angry direction. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You will seek out things that will confirm for you that you should be bitter and angry.
Yeah.
And if you instead choose joy and, flip the table, okay, this happened and it really sucked. But I'm learning something from it.
Right.
And I'm going to grow from my learning and I'm going to move forward. That too changes the choices that you make, the things you bring to yourself,
right.
the people that come in your path. It's self-fulfilling in a positive way.
Right. And that's true, because that's something I said in that same podcast. I stated that you can't grow if you don't make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make mistakes to grow, and in order to make mistakes, you have to try.
Right.
And that's the part that is sometimes scary. Like, oh my God, this is gonna happen, and you tell yourself it's gonna happen, and so it's like, I don't want to try, and sometimes that's the rough part, and then you get stuck because you're scared of trying, or you feel like, oh, it's never going to happen, so it's like, okay, I'll just I'll stick to what I know, because what I know is comfortable, and then you get stuck in that comfortability, and you don't get to make the mistakes so you can be better.
And
oh my gosh, I am.
It's beautiful.
I have my thought process when we have our next. After we're done, we're going to discuss our next topic, and I'm going to tell you what this means to me.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I love it.
I love this. Let me tell you, this is an amazing thing. It really is relaxing. And you might think, oh my God, they're on there painting and doing arts and craft. But it's so relaxing, and it's so comforting to just talk and do this. And it could be that because I'm doing it with Susan, it just makes me feel even better. But I love it, and I can just imagine how, this can be beneficial to so many people.
Yes.
Matter of fact, let's talk about how many times have you done this?
I volunteer at a nonprofit, and I go twice a month. And I have a couple of moms that come in and I do art. Well, I bring in projects and they do art. And it's really, I really feel like I win more than they do, because watching these two moms who have had just real hard struggles, things I can't even imagine in my mind, and they get to set all of their worries and all of their stresses and all of their things aside for a little while, and they create, and you can see it on them, how exciting it is for them to get to create. They love it. And quite often when I get there, one of them will say, I really don't want to do this today. I really don't want to do this today, because life is hard. They're struggling and things are happening and it's all real time. And by the end, when I leave, the one who says, I didn't want to come today, is I'm so glad I did this. So it's really. And isn't that so fulfilling? Yes, I love it. But even aside from that, watching just excitement, it's beautiful. They get to just exhale for a minute, and it's such a gift. I mean, you don't need an art therapist to come in and give you this. I would love to, but we can all do. Art isn't in a box. The world doesn't. Art has a title and it has this mystique about it that if you can't create a Picasso or a Monet, then you're not creative.
Mm-hmm.
And I just completely disagree, because we are made in our Creator's image.
Right.
So what did our Creator do? He creates everything that you see our Creator made.
Right.
And when you think about a box, you know, look at trees. So trees kind of have the same artistic image with them. You know, a trunk, branches, leaves. But then, I mean, this is wild to me that a platypus, it doesn't fit in a box of any animal.
Right.
You know, it's got a duck bill, it's got a beaver tail, it's got otter feet. God.
That's so true.
God made the platypus. Did God say everything has to fit in form? No. Right. An elephant with a trunk. Like who would have thought to put a long nose on a creature that's just like a big four-legged, big four-legged animal. Animals have 4 legs like that. But God put little touches on all of them. And if you look at, the way in the art, like the art box, like you have to have, art has to be these things and it has to fit in this little space. But God didn't fit in a space.
Oh yeah, that's true.
People in general, I mean, none of us are alike. Like we're all different.
Yeah.
Except identical twins. But we're all different. So for me, art is not in a box. It's throw whatever you want on a canvas or with clay or whatever, like just wherever your mind takes you. And it's just therapeutic. Like it's just really peaceful, and it's an opportunity for you to connect with your Creator.
Yeah, that's true.
To pull out that side of you.
I love that explanation. I think that was so good. That was so good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And are you done to the note?
No, but we can. I could keep going.
And that brings me right to our last topic, which is how do you find love even through the darkness? Right? Which is what we are demonstrating today. Right? Is finding love through the darkness. And so this is my drawing.
No, it's your masterpiece.
It's my masterpiece.
This is her masterpiece.
This is my masterpiece. And if you notice, the canvas is black. When we got it, it was just black. And it had gook and just stuff all in it, right? Just like all the trees. And first off, when she first brought the plain black canvas, I was like, can I just keep this? Because it was so meaningful, right? It was like, so under all of this, it was leaves and little things under there that was covered up with the darkness. And so that's what I got from it when she first brought the canvas. And then I said to myself, as she put it down, I'm going to color all the gook with some lightness to bring it out and make it come whole again. And so that's what I did here. And I just put the heart in the middle to show that the love brings out all the color that was covered in the gook. And so at times, when you show love to someone that is dark, right, it brings out love everywhere it spreads.
That's so true.
And so sometimes when someone is nasty and mean and just going through a lot, if we try not to be back nasty and mean, right? It's like what my mom always said, you cannot fight fire with fire, right? And so sometimes we have to just give a little love. And because God does that. We get angry. There's people that get angry at God. Why would you do this? Why?
Right.
And he still loves us. After everything we may have said and done, he still forgives and he still loves, and hope that we will bring that love back out. And so I think we should always love and try to cover the darkness with love. Even when we ourselves feel dark, we have to think about love and think about happiness and pull it out of ourselves, even when we're in a dark place.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's why I did this.
That's it's so happy now.
Yes.
It is way happier than it was.
You don't even see the darkness as much. Like you see the dark background, but then all the colors don't even let you pay attention to the darkness.
Yes. Well, and the symbolism for that could be that, like, no matter how many good things you see, no matter how much good you do or you feel and experience from other people, the darkness is still there.
Yeah.
It's not going away. But the more you cover, like you've done, the more you cover it with love, then, like you said, the harder it is to see it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just still there, but it's muted. Because you even have butterflies.
Yes. There's some butterflies up there all over, and I've used the red string, which is the love, to connect the butterflies. Yeah.
Look at you.
I thought about it when I was doing cute, and and then these gold things coming from the heart is just how the love it spread itself. Like this is the love spreading itself, putting it here, putting it there. It just reflected off.
You're a genius. That's awesome.
So yeah, when I did it, it all had a meaning to me. And like,
oh my gosh, there's like the message of that. Like life is chaotic and crazy, but it has a message.
Right.
It has a meaning. Like
So, I know you didn't get to finish yours, Susan.
Well, that's because I'm slow.
No, that's fine.
I am. I have to think.
And that's fine because at the end of the day, it's what you had your creativity to come out. So how about you just tell us where you were going and what it was, and you can point it to this.
Yeah, just the idea of love. It's.
Those are so
cute. I just braided them.
Oh, that was nice. You have to teach me how to do that.
It's
And look at that. So pause real quick. Let me say this. This paint right here.
And this one.
Yes. It happened to just fell on the.
Just popped out of the.
Yes, just popped out and fell on there. And why did that fall there? And I said, it's going to serve its purpose. It's going to show its purpose. Why? And now I'm looking at it like, wow, look at it. It was covering the guck, and you happen to put the heart right next to it. I just had to point that out.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I would have shared that story, but I had totally forgotten because it's already part of the piece.
Yeah. But, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I just want, like, for me, as a mom in the world today, as I was raising my children, the most important things on this earth to me, like that, they're vital to my life, and I wanted them to know they were loved. Like that was the most important thing to me for life, and my goal was to exhibit love for them, to them, so that the darkness of the things that we were living through and the yuck it doesn't go away, but just can be softened a little because they're loved and they know they're loved and they're valuable and they're important. So we've mainly talked about romantic love, but loving your kids and showing your kids how valuable they are in the midst of all the chaos and the yuck of the world, the darkness and the things that we wish didn't exist, was a gift. I just wanted, I wanted them to have that. I wanted them to know. So it's just love. And, in like Jesus talks about faith, hope, and love, and calls love the greatest. And, who would tell Jesus he was wrong about that?
Right.
So, and he came and ultimately loved us to his death.
Yes.
To the beating, to the, all of the yuck that, the darkness that he just welcomed to himself for us.
And that in itself, what you just said, is so touching, because he did, right? And did he, you could say, yes, he knew us, but did he know us physically? No, but he knew us spiritually. And he still came and said, I know that you're going to grow up and you're going to do this, and I'm not going to like it, but I'm still going to come down here and attempt to show you this love in efforts of changing this yuck
and
that
covering
I see.
It up,
and bringing love out of you by showing you love, right? In return, having it immerse out of you. So I really like that aspect that you just said. I'm really touched by that aspect. So I agree with that for sure. And sometimes we forget that, right? God loves everybody. And as angry as people make us, we have to remember. I think I wrote this before, and I said to someone, I said, we have to remember that we were spiritual beings before we became fleshly beings. And so when we became fleshly beings, the things of the world then change the spiritual aspects of us. And we forget that. We forget that we are all, at the end of the day, regardless of color, race, creed, we are all spiritual. And when we go to the spirit, there is none of that. There is no color, race, creed. It's just a spirit.
Right.
And so if we remember that, we'll stop looking at things of that nature and making that conform hate instead of love.
Yes.
Yeah, so that just brought that to me.
Yeah, well, and that brought a whole, we talked about romantic love, and we talked about love for our children, but we haven't talked about love for ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, if we don't forgive ourselves for the times that we knock ourselves down, if we don't forgive ourselves for mistakes that we make, if we don't love ourselves, well, then you can't do any of this. You just end up living in the darkness, even if it's only in your head.
Right. And then if you live in that darkness, you start to project that darkness to other people.
Love, the greatest of these.
But they say you have to love yourself before you can love others.
Yeah.
This was so great, Susan.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yes, and I love having you. Love. And we definitely have to do this again.
Anytime.
And the next time I do this, I would like to have I don't know, maybe do it with a couple people and have them experience it. Yes. So anybody out there that want to experience this, please feel free to comment and write me below on the Grounding podcast or on the Instagram link that will be posted in the link. In the description. I always have to ask because I get so misconstrued. So again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us with Susan. This was awesome, and being a part of Grounded Podcast. Don't forget, guys, happy Valentine's Day. Let's show them our pictures. Stay grounded.